Hi everyone, I'm on a very windy Camber beach. The sun is setting just there, beautiful. All the beach surfer people, windsurfer, whatever they are, doing their thing. You might have seen one of my earlier videos when they were full force. I'm getting closer to them. I've got a whole 10 days of gigs, so I thought I might just document them, how I feel about them, if anyone else is a performer or suffers with a bit of anxiety. The whole point of Ramble Happy has always been to discuss anxiety, nerves, mindfulness when it comes to performing as well. Just talk about it, get it out there, just, you know, open up about it. As a lot of men don't, so I'm just doing my thing, really. Yesterday I was here in Camber Sands doing a Basil Brush show. Today it's a Kevin Cruz show. So I have a little bit more anxiety today because it was 10 years ago that I was on Britain's Got Talent, and back then everybody seemed to watch it. Now it's not quite the same. So sometimes when I do these gigs, I walk out to a sea of just, they haven't got a clue. And when you're a solo performer and you have a room of sometimes like 1,500, 2,000 people, it can be a bit daunting. However, in saying that, I do seem to win them over. And I've probably done over 1,000 holiday parks now. And I've not yet been pelted with rotten fruit. Although that's my anxiety, you see, because I'm waiting for that time. I'm waiting for the one where I'm pelted with rotten fruit. Will it happen tonight on my 1,001 show? Probably not. And that's what's good about mindfulness and what's good about rambling, especially now I'm going for an hour and a half along this beach. It just puts my mind into a positive, good place, and I will enjoy the show tonight. Look at this, you see. You see, I would love to do this. I think I mentioned in my last video, I'd love to do that. However, I found out that it is an extreme sport. And the fact that I'm even interested in sport is something. I remember when I was at school, I used to be the one sat in the corner of the football field making daisy chains. In fact, the PE teacher used to call me Bernard Matthews. Some of you might get that reference, some of you might not. I mean, if he did that nowadays, he'd be sacked, right? But yeah, I kind of want to have a go. Maybe next year, that'll be my thing. Next year, I'm going to kite surf. I'm in Romney Sands. It is a very, very moody evening. I'm doing a ramble, 1 hour up, 1 hour back. My gig last night went so well, surprise, surprise. So well, in fact, I chucked in some new material to try it out. They were great, it was like a Saturday night. I think they're all drunk, but that's the best way to watch a Kevin Cruz gig. It's so strange because in the car on the way down, I just have this sort of like feeling of doubt and worry and a little cloud over me. And even though I think about all the positive things, I'm trying to put myself in a good place, it just sits there. But I now know what that is and I know how to deal with it. And on the way home in the car, I was planning my day the next day, singing along to Madonna like you do. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I'm not so anxious today because of yesterday. This is my third gig back, and I've had two brilliant ones, so I'm better today. I'm on at 10 o'clock tonight after the bingo. So it might kick off, because bingo, if anyone's ever witnessed it, especially on a cruise ship, bingo can kick off. So hopefully it will be alright. What the jeez! I'm gonna go back at this. Sometimes rambling isn't quite, what's happened to the joke? Sometimes rambling isn't quite River Thames and Swans, is it? Hi everyone, I'm on Hayling Island my third gig of the week. So last night's gig went really well. It took 10 minutes or so to kind of warm them up. It was a smaller venue with socially distanced tables. They're quite spread out. At one point I thought, oh, I could be left with one person in the room and they're only there because they've fallen asleep. But we ended on a high. Everyone was up. We had a great time. It was a really good gig. My gigs have always been like a hobby. They've been work, they've been travel, holidays. They kind of mold into one, which is why I probably get anxiety about performing, because they mean so much for so many reasons. But now having the rambling as part of it as well, it sort of makes my gig the smallest part of the day, really, in a good way, which is great for my anxiety. Just doing more. What is it they say about if you want something doing as a busy person? I'm totally with that. It makes so much sense. I know a lot of acts that will do exercise before a gig, or run around a car park, or lots of things to get their energy up. And I've never done anything like that. I just sat and put my makeup on. I totally get it now. Doing something like this, it really gets you powered up for a gig. And I think it's important to get on stage with energy, give the room some energy, hope for the best. I'm actually really looking forward to tonight's gig. I seem this year to have found a new sort of calmness in a good way. Like, when I'm on stage, I just feel like I could just stand for a little bit. And I think the Basil Brush Unleashed show, which we do for grown-ups, it's taught me a lot actually, just to kind of centre, just to pause, let jokes fall. With Kevin, it's so energised, it's always full on. And actually now I've learned to kind of just take a bit of time and not be afraid of a pause or a silence. I turned around to go back the other way, and then I saw this beautiful sunrise. Let me just show you here. Look at that. So much nicer just a minute ago, but I kind of missed the whole thing. Planning my week next week. I might just have a sit here, knackered, and just watch the sun go down a little bit further, and then I shall head on back to the venue for my gig. Woohoo! Hello. It's not so windy today. I'm literally on the end of a pier in Naze, which is in Essex, just above Clacton. So I've got a Kevin Cruz gig there tonight. Traffic was a nightmare, so I've got here a little bit late, so it's getting dark, but it's very pretty. Never been here before. That's the bonus about doing these holiday park gigs, is you get to come to places you never would have come before. I always say I'm going to come back and have a little weekend away. It never happens. So I had my gig a couple of nights ago now. My third gig of the week was all right. It was a small venue, small crowd. I was ready for it. I had no anxiety. Well, a little bit, and it was tough. It was 45 minutes of thinking on my feet. I had to keep it going, which is brilliant. It's always good to have those gigs. But you know what? Finished with a nice round of applause. Did some photos on stage. Happy days. And then the next day we were in Pontins for a Basil Brush show. And again, I love doing the Basil show, and I weirdly don't get anxiety with that. And I don't know if it's because I'm working with someone else. It's not just about me. Yeah, it was just great. And then today, this is my 5th day of gigs, and we're here. It looks like a good crowd. I'm really excited about it, actually. I'm looking forward to doing it. And then another 2 days of Basil shows. I was actually talking to a friend today about how we both have many fingers and many pies. And I do think that's helped my anxiety over the years, certainly over the last year. Because I think what it does is it gives you a chance to, oh look, happy place. Someone's happy place. Well, that's nice to see. Maybe I should paint our house yellow and white. I was actually talking to a friend today because we've both got many pies on many fingers. And I think that's helped with my anxiety over the years. Having lots of little income streams. If you lose one, it's not so bad. And actually, over this last 6 months, it's made me realise that you can sort of stand up for yourself if you need to. You can be a little bit braver, a bit stronger. And if you lose one of those income streams, then then that's okay. Just concentrate on the other few. I think I've got 3, maybe 4. And in the past, it's just been Kevin. Everything's come, all my money, Kevin. And then when you maybe lose a gig or something, you start panicking. Am I going to lose more? So it feels a lot more relaxed now with everything that's going on, which I think is good. If you're self-employed, especially a performer, having a few different streams of income is a very good idea. It's not just about work being a pie on your finger. You know, you've got a finger in your friends, you've got a You've got a friend pie on your finger. A family pie, what we're talking about. Do you know what? Sometimes I just think, shut up, Martin, honestly, which is probably what you're thinking right now. But you know what? I'm not even going to delete that. I'm just going to keep it because I like to think I'm talking to you like I would if we were in the pub or a coffee shop. But yeah, I think you get my idea about pies. I feel like I need a cartoonist to draw me with some pies on my fingers. Basil brush pie, that'd be, oh no, that'd be a fox pie, that'd be awful. That'd be a horrible thing, right? I don't know. Has anyone ever tried a fox pie? I'll mention that to Basil tomorrow. But yes, I'm looking forward to tonight's gig. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I feel really fortunate that this is my 5th day being able to ramble. I'm only doing a short one today because of traffic, so I'm only doing like an hour and a quarter. But to be able to ramble and look at this gorgeous sea, very fortunate. Even though I've just sat in a car for 3.5 hours to get here. But it's all good. I hope you have a lovely bank holiday weekend. Enjoy yourselves. And have a think about some pies. Hi everyone, this is my 5th and last before show ramble video. I think you've had enough of me talking about pies, which I'm not talking about today. I still apologise for the pie comment yesterday. No pies will be mentioned apart from the last 3 times in this video. I'm in Brean, it's beautiful today. It is absolutely lovely, windy of course. We've got 2 Basil Brush shows today. As the week's gone on, my anxiety has got less and less and less, which says everything. I'm not surprised. But when you're gigging back to back, I think it just helps, you know, it really helps. It's like panto. On opening night, people are always surprised when I say this, but opening night of panto, I am a bag of nerves. I'm literally shaking. I talk too much. I can't concentrate. I'm all over the place. We do rehearse in a week, and even though it's all up there, you never know what order it's going to come out in. And there's always that worry, which is the anxiety, that you're going to, you know, it's all going to go horribly wrong. And I remember my first year, I had a line at the end of the panto where someone says, and we all lived happily ever after. And then I go, hip, hip, and everyone goes, hooray. And I always did this little look to Lisa Scott Lee from Steps. We always had this little like wink. And one day, everyone went, and we all lived happily ever after. And they all looked at me and I thought, what are they looking at me for? And I looked at Lisa and she did this kind of, and I was like, someone's forgotten a line. And they all just went, hooray! Started laughing. And looking at me, I was like, oh, someone's messed up there. Who would forget their line? What an idiot. Working with amateurs. Oh. And it wasn't until afterwards I left the stage and they were like, oh my God, you've got that line. It was so funny. And I just completely, this is like 40 shows in, that just nothing, it just wasn't even there. And then about a few years later, I had a moment on stage where an usher was talking to somebody in the front row, and it was a bit strange, something was happening. I remember looking down and thinking, oh, don't know what's going on there. And at this point I looked over at Stephen and I think Michael was with us, and they were just looking at me and I was like, oh God, it's my line. No idea. And then suddenly it just came like hurtling to the front of my mind and I said it. But it all happened in a split second. Enough for Stephen to do like a... you see, I always think, oh, they're all going to happen tonight. Today's going to be the day when I do all my mistakes. It's never that way. It's never that way. But the more you run it, I think, the more you work, the better it is. As I said in one of my first videos, if you want something doing as a busy person, I think if you want less anxiety as a solo performer, you just need to be doing back-to-back gigs, really. But it's nice work if you can get it, right? So I hope you've enjoyed these little videos. I wanted to just do a little insight into what I think about before a gig, and I might do some more in the future, but I like to change it up, do something different next, you know. Very fortunate that I don't have a serious or medical anxiety like a lot of people. Mine is very low key and I can control it, and I know what it is. I can't necessarily stop it, but I know how to kind of put it in a good place. But I'm on a journey like everyone else, and I'm just exploring and I'm reading about it and just realizing that over the years, some of the things that I've done or I've said or things that have happened, I can now kind of put it in a place. And if I can help a few people out there kind of go, actually, I'm a bit like that, and Martin's made a bit of sense out of it now that he's mentioned pies. I don't know, people. Anyway, I'm off to do some basil brush work. Have a good weekend. Bye.